In this video, you'll learn a dietary protocol based on research that helps you lose body and belly fat. I'm Dr. Morgan Nolte, founder of Zivli, where we help adults reverse insulin resistance for long-term weight loss and better health. One of the most common complaints we hear is belly fat. It makes your clothes fit differently, might knock your self-confidence, and excess is harmful for your health. You may be lowering calories, working out, or even doing crunches or ab workouts and not getting the results that you want. Flat abs are made in the kitchen, not the gym. It's important to know that there are two types of belly fat. The first is subcutaneous, and this is the stuff under your skin that's soft and squishy and you can grab it with your hands. Visceral belly fat lies under the abdominal muscles. It surrounds your organs and can make them less efficient. It also releases more inflammatory substances than subcutaneous fat, so is worse for your health. When you start to lose fat, your body will start to lose visceral fat first, and then your subcutaneous stores. That's why the belly fat that you can grab with your hands seems to take so long to go away. Before we talk about the eating protocol today, remember that diet is just one aspect of your lifestyle. Other factors to consider when lowering body and belly fat include reducing or eliminating alcohol, lowering stress and cortisol levels, improving your sleep, and doing the right types and amounts of physical activity for you. With this background in mind, let's talk about a proven dietary method to lower belly and body fat. This study compared intermittent fasting and protein pacing, or IFP, versus a heart-healthy caloric restriction diet. These were matched for energy intake and physical activity energy expenditure on body weight, total and visceral fat mass, and cardiometabolic health outcomes in men and women with obesity. People in each comparison group ate a similar number of calories and did similar amounts of exercise. But what they ate and when they ate it was the main difference. In case you're not familiar with the term, a protein pacing diet is a nutrient-dense, calorie-restricted diet with 4 meals that have 20 to 40 grams of protein evenly spaced throughout the day. Let's take a closer look at what each group did exactly so you can replicate this at home. For the heart-healthy daily caloric restriction diet, or CR, participants followed specific guidelines of the National Cholesterol Education Program Therapeutic Lifestyle Changes, or TLC diet of the American Heart Association. The specific macronutrient distribution was less than 35% of calories as fat, 15% of calories from protein, and 50 to 60% of calories as carbohydrates. Less than 200 milligrams per deciliter of dietary cholesterol per day, 20 to 30 grams of fiber per day, and a low sugar intake of less than 50 grams per day. The total calorie intake was 1,200 per day for women and 1,500 per day for men during the 8-week weight loss intervention. The subjects were provided resources and weekly virtual meetings with a registered dietitian to help reinforce healthy eating choices. For the intermittent fasting protein pacing group, they were initially split into 2 groups for the first 4 weeks. One group fasted for 1 day a week for about 36 hours. That would be like going from dinner Sunday night to breakfast Tuesday morning. The second group fasted for 2 consecutive days per week for a total of about 60 hours fasting. That would be like going from dinner Sunday night to breakfast Wednesday morning. After the first 4 weeks, both groups fasted for just 1 day per week. The researchers combined these 2 fasting groups when looking at the intermittent fasting data, so we don't have data comparing the 2 fasting groups. It's important to note that this was a modified fasting approach because the participants did eat 400 to 500 calories per day during their fasting day or days. These calories came from a variety of supplements that included antioxidants, adaptogens, collagen bone broth, and electrolytes. Adaptogens are derived from plants and help your body deal with stress, anxiety, and fatigue. Once those basic nutrients were met, they were able to choose from several snack options, but their total daily calorie intake was around 400 per day. We've listed the exact products from the research study on this slide so that you can see them. If you read that slide, you can probably tell by now this study was funded by Isagenix International LLC, and the study's lead researcher, Dr. Paul Arciero, is a scientific advisory board member and consultant for Isagenix. He's also an advisory board member of the International Protein Board. But just because there are conflicts of interest doesn't mean that you can't replicate these results with other foods or products. On the days when the IFP group ate, they had 2 liquid meal replacement shakes with added whole foods, such as a small serving of fruits or vegetables, a whole food evening dinner meal, and an evening protein snack. Men also got an afternoon snack, and all meals were about 400 to 500 calories. The goal of this eating plan is to have regular doses of protein throughout the day. This helps support and maintain muscle mass, especially during weight loss. The macronutrient distribution was about 35% protein, 35% carbohydrates, and 30% fat. We've listed the exact eating protocol here on this slide for you to review. Again, you can try to replicate this type of meal plan with a different brand of shake, or just look at similar macronutrient and calorie composition meals. So, what were the body composition results? Which group lost more belly fat and body fat and kept more muscle? As you can see from figure 3 of this study, the intermittent fasting protein pacing group had better results. During the 8-week study, the intermittent fasting protein pacing group lost more weight, on average over 3 kilograms or 6.6 pounds of total body weight. They reduced their total fat mass and impressively lost twice as much fat mass and visceral fat. They also had greater reductions in waist circumference and total abdominal region fat, so the visceral and subcutaneous fat in the abdominal region. Both groups lost a similar amount of lean body mass, but because the intermittent fasting protein pacing group lost more fat mass, they increased the proportion of fat-free mass, or amount of fat-free mass compared to their total body mass, by 100% compared with the calorie restriction group. The intermittent fasting protein pacing group also had less hunger and desire to eat than the heart-healthy calorie restriction group. There are other interesting results from this study. If you'd like to look into it more, we've linked it in the description. The bottom line of this study is that an intermittent fasting protein pacing protocol was found to be better than restricting your calories every day for total fat and belly fat loss. Note again that both diets did have an overall energy deficit. That's a common mistake that we see people make when they start intermittent fasting. They overeat when they do eat, so they don't see as much weight loss as they thought that they would. Another mistake is not prioritizing protein during weight loss, which leads to greater losses in lean body mass. So overall, I think this is a good choice to lose body fat and belly fat. You may want to tweak the approach based on your specific goals, health conditions, and what you find sustainable. For example, we usually recommend 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal for adults, especially those over 50. If you're young and healthy, 20 grams of protein will likely be enough to stimulate optimal muscle growth, but the older and sicker you are, the more resistant your body is to building muscle, so you'll need more per meal to optimize your muscle health. If you liked today's episode and want more videos like this, let me know in the comments. Also, let me know of any other fat loss questions that you have. We hope you found this episode helpful, and if you did, be sure to subscribe to this channel, and you can check out our coaching and programs here, and watch this video next on a high protein diet for weight and fat loss, 5 reasons why it works.